was when CEO Jensen Huang quipped that if you bought an RTX 4090, that was probably the best investment you could make. I mean, just consider all the entertainment happiness that it could give you. But one small thing, Mr. Huang. When Nvidia launched the RTX 4090, your stock price was about $11.50. So if someone had bought that instead of a 4090 as their investment, well, hey, good news, because they should be able to comfortably afford a 5090 or 10. As for everybody else, well, unfortunately, Nvidia doesn't take happiness, so you're going to be trading a truly princely sum for the privilege of experiencing their latest and greatest. But affordability aside, this was a heck of an event. Nvidia kicked it off with the most beautiful real-time rendered demo that I have ever seen, and then followed it up with a slew of new RTX Blackwell 50 series GPUs with brand new technologies like DLSS 4.0, DLSS Transformer, Neural Faces, and some of the GPUs even have prices that, taken at face value, might actually be kind of exciting. Jensen claimed on stage that the 5070 will offer 4090 levels of performance at $549. Then immediately followed that up with a huge red flag saying that this feat would be impossible without AI. So I was all like, sick, woo! And then I was all like, probably want to see it. Well, no sooner did I say that than some burly guys in green showed up and said, all right, you tech-tipping son of a bitch, we're going to show it to you right now. But you got to do the thing. The thing, I said? Yeah, the thing. Oh, right, the thing. The segue to our sponsor. Wicked Cushions. Give your headset a new lease on life with Wicked. We'll get to some of the AI and data center stuff from the keynote, but first, I want to talk GeForce. And right now, we are behind the scenes getting the first ever hands-on with the RTX 5090. Well, we aren't yet. Now we are. They didn't tell me I could touch it, but they can't stop me. They're way over there. Before we go deeper, there are a couple of things that stood out immediately from their sizzle video for this thing. I mean, yeah, there's the incredibly compact PCB with the state-of-the-art power delivery that enables a sick dual-fan, dual-slot cooler with pass-through for both of the fans. That's right, both of these fans are blowing right through the cart. But this, wow, okay, thank you. No more need for fire-prone right-angle adapters to clean up your cable management. Oh, that's good. And power connector. Okay, Linus, it has a nice cable, but what about the specs? Oh, I've got specs. Let me put it this way. If you have a 4090 right now, the 5090 is the GPU that she tells you not to worry about. In raw numbers, here's what that looks like. This is going to be one heck of an upgrade. I can't wait to see it in action.
Chat, how many people are actually gonna get the card stock like that? Not a lot of people, right? I don't think, chat, I've never had a GeForce card stock in not even once in my entire life.
So why am I waiting? Let's do it. Here, relegated to the floor like a common chicken, is the previous king, the RTX 4090. Why don't we start there? Nvidia can't let me show you guys much prior to the performance embargo in a couple of weeks. We get one game, only one game, and we can't change the settings. But I can't think of anything I'd want to change here. Absolutely everything is cranked. And to their credit, they did load up frame view, so I won't be purely relying on feel to evaluate the difference. Okay, so let's play on the 4090. Yep. That's a pretty powerful GPU still. And it's even more powerful than you probably realize. Before we move over to the 5090, this build of Cyberpunk has some new goodness baked into it, including Nvidia's new Transformer model and DLSS 4 frames.
So a lot of people are actually playing games in chat these days. On the 40. Only 110 frames, brother. That game is not fully optimized. And on top of that, all the ultra settings are superfluous, okay? And they were made to break your shit, okay? That game is designed to break your shit at max
this guy is performing a little better thanks to some of these changes. It's nice that it's getting the extra help because this is not close. Even without looking at the numbers, which are double, this is wickedly smooth. I still remember, I think it was on a short circuit or something, we were looking at a system from, I want to say Main Gear. It was my first time playing Cyberpunk on the 4090 because I hosted the review and everything, but I never actually got to game on it. And I was like, oh my God, Yeah, this is a lot faster. And it's like, where are the polygons, you know? Where have my polys gone?
No, stop.
Sure, the thing is priced at $2,000 US, a 25% increase, and is rated at 575 watts, but for the first time in what feels like forever, at least we're getting more for the money. Like, this feels like a truly Halo tier product. The 512-bit memory bus, 5,000 more CUDA cores, and noticeably better performance. Like, I can't believe that this is Cyberpunk running at 4K with ray tracing.
Chad, that was the old 4049, no?
Because it isn't. FrameGen and AI-assisted ray tracing are doing a lot of heavy lifting here. Jensen gave us a bit of insight into this, telling us that out of the about 33 million pixels in his demo, 2 million of them were calculated.
I remember when it came out, the cables used to burn, remember that?
Using AI, but okay. I mean, it doesn't matter as long as it looks good, right? So how good does it look? Well, I'm supposed to be just showing this off. What I've actually been doing is looking around for a couple of interesting examples of how DLSS 4 doesn't handle everything perfectly. See the way this text kind of jitters and blurs if I move around? It's not as clear as the rest of the frame. See, it's okay if I do it, it's okay if I strafe. And I've noticed some instances of particularly bright or high contrast objects having little ghosts on them. With that said, I know what I'm looking for. Other reviewers are going to know what they're looking for. If I were to put one of my siblings in front of this, looks pretty good. And Nvidia was quick to point out that this is both running at lower latency and with fewer artifacts than DLSS 3.5. Enough about the 5090.
Now remove it then. Remove
DLSS. Most people aren't going to buy. Let's talk about the rest of the family. The RTX 5070 comparison to the 4090 should be taken with a grain of salt.
Say whatever you want. I hate the fact that you max out a PC, max out everything. You buy the whole full insane like high-tech shit and you play with DLSS. I'm sorry, that's just something that I don't find to be
That's going to be with DLSS version 4. Obviously, that's going to be using their new MFG or multi-frame generation at 4x. That feature is limited to 50 series cards and is powered by AI. And obviously, the situation might change depending on the resolution you're running. I mean, 4K needs a fair bit of VRAM. So can a few hundred more CUDA cores net such a wild performance boost? Especially with so much less VRAM? It's a bold claim. But with this mix of next-gen CUDA, Tensor, and RT cores, along with DDR7...
DLSS isn't bad, okay? It's something that helps mid and lower end PCs to get a image quality that would be kind of like further top end PCs, okay? But the reality is that if you have a top end PC, why would you want to run DLSS? You can have absolutely pure shit with no blur, no artifacts, nothing, just pure frames. That's what you want. That's what you want.
At least in some titles. And if it looks anywhere near as good as this does, while costing less than half of what the 4090 did at launch, well, father. I certainly wish that it had 16 gigs of RAM, but even without it, they are going to sell a lot of these. Not to me, you might say. I want 16 gigs of VRAM. Well, then you are going to need to take another step up to the 5070 Ti or another step to the RTX 5080.
I don't know if the AI is the future of this. Okay, I get it. It's computing the possibilities of what's going to happen next. Okay, and but at the end of the day, I don't even want that to be the future. I want to be a future where you can a top end PC, right? A crazy good hardware GPU, and you just have max frames without all that bullshit. I don't want to have any blur in my garbage.
About these.
Or delay or
prices had stayed the same, I'd probably be pretty
tearing or whatever.
Right now.
I want to have a good image quality.
Class cards they showed today are $50 less than last gen. And I don't know if that's because of competition, but hey, progress. And it actually gets better. The RTX 5080, with all the other bells and whistles that we've
I'll say it again.
And
remove all the RTX bullshit. Remove all the whatever. And remove the DLSS. And you don't need to have some cutting edge rocket ship to run that. If you remove the superfluous thing, nice reflection, you remove those, you can have extreme high frames, good image quality, low latency, good gameplay with a fantastic image. that doesn't have the super reflections. But who cares about the reflections? Who cares?
Supporting an additional 1,000 CUDA cores compared to its predecessor is set at just $999. I say just. I know $1,000 is still really expensive, but that is down $200 from the RTX 4080, or about 16%. It's got next-gen everything, 1,000 more CUDA cores, more than double the AI tops, and more memory bandwidth, meaning it should deliver.
I'm gonna glaze Battlefield. Battlefield showed me that if when you optimize a game and you care enough about your product, you can make a game that can run at insane quality, frame, and fidelity, right? And integrity, right? Battlefield and Battlefront without having top-end PC shit. Because the game is optimized properly. Stop putting the fucking things on the hardware and put the blame on the fucking developers making bullshit ass spaghetti code, dog shit coded games, motherfucker. That's a real problem.
Flagship class performance at that price, even if there does exist an even higher end card for the mega ballers out there. Right alongside their new desktop GPUs, Nvidia announced 50 series for laptops as well. They start as low as $1299 with the RTX
settings and look at how beautiful it is and how it runs.
4090
it's a masterpiece.
Using half of the power, and then the lineup goes all the way up to an RTX 5090 at $2899. By the way, if you want to see our quick first initial reactions to
anyway, do the other shit. Battlefront gameplay, 4K. Fuck it, I'll say 4K. That's what
xQc, xQc, xQc old.
Brother, look at it.
Our AT-AT will only be vulnerable for a little longer. Push the rebel scum back.
Look at it.
See what you think of these.
I was wondering where he's not going too fast. He's kind of like slowing down, just playing the game. Dude, look! Look how good that looks.
Devs just use DLSS as an excuse to not optimize their games.
The game runs like a charm. Look at all the stuff, all the lighting.
Yeah.
Look at how much this could lag, and yet it doesn't lag. Why? Because the game is optimized properly. Because the game isn't doing this. We're gonna optimize it a little bit, and we're gonna just slam DLSS, dumbass. Just put DLSS, dude, because I hate that, man.
Jesus, 40 months. Battlefront is a cinematic masterpiece. Q. 25 POG. Chat, what's your favorite emote? I like people glad.
Look, this runs like a charm. Look at it.
Still not girlfriend. Still broke, but at least him in the jungle.
This is actually running. This is running on weird settings though. Hold on. Maybe I glazed too early. I think he's got gun blurs on it on.
xQcL.
No HUD, 4K. This guy's playing with the depth of field though. How's that shit? You guys, how old is this game? This game is pretty. This game is pretty old, no? I'm 16. 9 years old. Look how it runs. What are the devs' excuses now for their garbage? What's their excuse? Oh, it's because you're not running it with the fucking GTX RTX 1010 105 2X ZX 1 AAA, dude. with SMAA DLSS SFXAADX25, dude. You should have been running that, duh.